Hi, my name is Sandy Carter, and I am a social business expert and evangelist in the marketplace today. My passion is to go around the world, over 68 countries to date, and to teach and share best practices on social and how it impacts marketing as well as other functions. I've been really studying lately this whole area of the fourth era of branding and how social is impacting brands. So I want to talk to you today in our social business coffee break about that particular topic. But before we get started, I'd like to share just a little personal story that's going to relate to what we're going to talk about today. I was helping my daughter with a science fair project, and she chose jellyfish to focus in on. And we all know when our daughters or our kids get an assignment, it's ours too. So I was learning with her about jellyfish, and I found it fascinating that jellyfish don't have a brain. They don't really think ahead. They consume and then just spray stuff out. So they're just constantly floating around spraying. And they aren't a learning mechanism. They make the same mistake over and over again. So of course, since my passion is social, I relate everything to social. So I was thinking, if I look at some companies out there and the way that they view their brands, they're kind of like a jellyfish, a social jellyfish. And there are some lessons that we can learn to be better and not to be a social business jellyfish. So let's start by looking at why it's important to not have these attributes. And the first thing is, let's look at the history of branding. If you look at branding overall and you think about it, back in the early 1900s, branding was about identification. How do you find the brand, right? To identify it. Very simple mechanisms. The 30s up until about the 1990s, it was about a symbol, right? The logo. What does it look like? And it really represented how do I find quality. And then the 1990s to the 2000s, it was about an individual relationship. We heard a lot about one-on-one marketing and that personalized relationship that you might have. But today, I consider this the fourth era of branding. And it's really about a brand as a dynamic social process, about embracing and engaging a community, learning from that community, dialoguing, two-way, not spraying, but dialoguing with that community and figuring out how does this brand matter to the community. And so in this fourth era of branding, we have to build brand value with the thought of a community, a social business community. And it involves planning out that journey, so thinking ahead, not like the jellyfish, engaging your customers, two-way dialogue, not just spraying stuff out, and then learning, building a continuously learning organization that leverages things like ideation and crowdsourcing to engage the audience and move them from being a spectator to being a participant. Now, as I travel around the world and we're thinking about this fourth era of branding, I talk to companies about really understanding what their goal is, mapping their business goal to their priority, and how social and a community could help assist in that particular goal. For instance, if you're trying to come up with a new product idea and your goal is market share leadership or more loyal clients, wouldn't it be great to have a community that you could brainstorm ideas with, test things with, get new ideas from them so that you could really figure out how to expand that marketplace, how to build more loyal clients. So starting with your goal, figuring out how social, how a community could help you in that particular goal. Now, one of the things that I learned a lot about is that having a great strategy and a great plan sometimes doesn't make a difference if you don't have the right culture. In fact, one thing that I've really learned, my favorite saying is culture eats strategy for lunch. So, the jellyfish doesn't have a plan, but if you have a plan and then you don't have the culture to support it, you also won't be successful. So what is the culture surrounding your brand? What's the culture surrounding your community? Is it risk averse? Do you not share? Do you not communicate? Is your communication guarded? How do you handle mistakes? Because mistakes in a social world will happen. These elements of culture are really important. And it's one of the reasons that I like to come into companies and share a cultural assessment with them, helping them to figure out where are the elements that fit with social, where could a community help, and based on that culture of the brand, what type of community might be very, very, very successful. So if you think about this, planning things out, engaging, and then learning, those are really kind of not doing social business jellyfish marketing. And it's really embracing this fourth era of branding with the community. My name is Sandy Carter, and this has been our short but very informative social business coffee break. Thank you.